Hey there, I'm Todor from ROIABLE, and today we'll cover the SAP IdM migration topic related to versioning. You can find that topic under number 41 within the product features, right here, and clicking on it will take us to the dedicated slide. Versions are part of our everyday life, even if we don't realize it. They are part of your phone, both hardware and software, in any kitchen appliance, your TV, and even your car. They help us keep track of updates, change logs, and are one of the first questions you get asked by customer support when opening a ticket. If versions are so important, where are they in the SAP IDM solution? And generally, what purpose they can play in an IM product? For the first part of the question, the answer is pretty straightforward. Versioning is part of SAP IDM when it comes to changes applied to the identity store schema and the packages, which, as we know, contain the various objects in SAP IDM that actually do the work behind the scenes. To briefly mention some of them, those would be scripts, constants, processes, jobs, etc. We will touch on the second part of the question in a bit later in the video. I would like to deep dive a bit more into the reasons behind the complex change management of SAP IDM and why most companies struggle to establish it properly. Although things improved significantly from version 7.2 to version 8, security departments continued to lack a consistent and issue-free transports with proper change management within SAP IDM. The introduced versioning concept was really useful, but it was definitely not panacea. Currently, one of the most missed features within SAP IDM would be the change history of what was changed in a particular version compared to its predecessor. This one is left in the hands of the developer and his or her talents to write long and self-clarifying commands. Needless to say, this doesn't work exactly perfect at all times. Some time ago, a parallel activity was started to allow changes of SAP IDM objects to be tracked with GitHub. This indeed helped a bit, but just as much so that the change management of SAP IDM hit the next impediment. From our long-dated history with SAP IDM, having versions and locking on package level is way too high up the hierarchy of IDM objects. This means that once someone checks out a package, no one else can touch it, and there are way too many objects inside for that. This applies especially if we're talking about a global package that contains at least 100 scripts which are used by other packages. On top of that, you would need a very good organization of the various packages in order to avoid, to a level possible, developers overlapping and locking themselves. Only if that was also enough, but unfortunately it isn't. IAM systems require a much more complex change management methodology, such that is based on final business purpose requirement, which needs to be implemented in a certain release. This would require us to look back at the good old SAP ABAP transport mechanism, where various objects could be added to one or multiple transports, which would be serving the purpose of building the required functionality later in the systems that are part of the landscape. If we have to match this approach to SAP IDM, we wouldn't be talking about transporting IDM schema and packages separately. Rather, changes made within many package objects and various schema attributes into one transport with proper track changes, conflict detection and resolution, and transport history. To give a quick example, let's say a new process should be established, which handles external users' expiring contracts. The task at hand would surely require a number of objects to be changed or created, starting with the identity schema attributes, potentially a new entry type, a new form with proper access controls, the process to handle the results after submit, you name it, etc., etc. Putting all those objects in one package is first of all not possible with SAP IDM, but even if it was, it would probably not fit your original organization of the packages. Exactly in this case, it would be perfect if all those objects can still reside in different packages for organizational purposes, but be part of one transport, which would guarantee a hassle-free import and cutover in the systems of the landscape. From design time perspective, changes can be transported, but what would happen with certain objects which are not expected to override existing versions in the systems to which they are imported? Such would be repository type constants, package constants, repository states, so etc. Also, there are objects which would never be transported, but still need to be tracked. For example, enabling or disabling a repository, enabling, disabling a process, or even a process task, creation of new repository from existing repository type, etc. Those require good auditing capabilities as well, since sometimes the difference between why something was or was not provisioned properly might be just one disable flag. As you all see, the topic is quite complex, and surely you can contribute to it with your own examples and scenarios. One thing is for sure, SAP IdM didn't offer the needed tools and capabilities to do versioning properly. So I'd recommend that you do your research and pick your future IEM with the mentioned capabilities in mind. This concludes this video about versioning in the SAP IdM migration context. Don't forget to check our social media channels for the full release of the ROIABLE SAP IdM migration guidelines. Till then, retain investment, stay compliant, and embrace the cloud. See you next time.